Hello, my name is Javiera Medel.
And I'm Conztanza Martin.
Today we are going to talk about text types and structure, and we chose a story called Division by Zero by Ted Chiang, an American writer. To give you a little more of context, the story is about Renee, a brilliant mathematician who proves that math is actually inconsistent. The discovery destroys her trust in everything she believed, and it causes a deep emotional crisis. Her husband, Carl, tries to help, but the distance between them grows. The story shows how fragile people can be when their beliefs and relationships start to fall apart. So what type of story is this, and why was it written? Well, for this we need to dive into the genre and function of this story. The genre means the type or category of a text. For example, Division by Zero is in the narrative genre, because it tells a story with characters, events, and emotions. Now, the function of a text is the purpose, what the writer wants to do with it. It answers the question, why was this text written? The function of Division by Zero is to tell a story and make readers reflect about human fragility, identity, and what happens when our beliefs collapse. Moving on, in this part I will explain the scaffolding of a narrative text. Scaffolding means the structure of a story. It's the way its parts are organized to build meaning. A complete narrative text normally has these 5 stages. The first one is orientation. This is the introduction of who, where, and when. Here we meet Renee, a mathematician, and Carl, her husband, in a mental health center. For example, Renee was looking out the window when Mr. Rivas approached. This shows Renee's situation and where she is. Following, we have the complication. This is the problem that changes everything. Here, Renee discovers arithmetic is inconsistent, which destroys her beliefs. For example, I have discovered a formalism that lets you equate any number with any other number. This shows the shocking discovery. Next, we have the sequence of events. These are the actions after the problem. Here, Renee struggles with suicide thoughts. Carl tries to help. She goes home, but it gets worse. For example, she had come up with a totally different approach, but it only confirmed the original contradiction. This shows her repeated failures. Now we have the resolution. It's how the problem is handled. Here, Renee stays in treatment. Carl stays, but he feels no love. For example, he felt no more than a sense of duty towards her. This shows a cold, sad reaction. And finally, we have the coda. This is the final reflection. There is no happy ending, they both stay broken. For example, it was going to be so difficult. This shows an open, painful ending. This scaffolding helps us see Renee's discovery destroy both her world and her relationship. Let's have a look at the grammatical features of this story. Grammatical features are the language tools the author uses, like verb tenses, pronouns, or sentence style, to tell the story clearly and show the character's feelings. The most important grammatical features here are past tenses, present tense, and reported speech. Past tense tells us what happened step by step, like a memory. For example, Carl signed his name yet another time. The present tense shows thoughts or feelings in the moment. For example, he realizes he no longer loves her. Reported speech adds distance, showing memories instead of direct talk. For example, he remembered when he had brought Renee in to be admitted.
Hello, this is Conztanza Martin talking, and next we have the reference rules, which help the text feel unified. Reception. This refers to how readers interpret repeated ideas. Renee's recurring thoughts on math and meaning reveal her psychological shift. For example, when Chiang writes, she had proven that life and death were equivalent, we're not just seeing logic, we are witnessing her existential crisis. Anaphoric reference. Pronouns link ideas. For example, she handed the sheet to Carl. He looked at it. The word it refers back to the sheet, maintaining continuity. Lexical substitution. Chiang avoids repetition by using synonyms. The sheet and the proof both describe Renee's mathematical discovery. Same object, different framing. Co-reference. When the story refers to Mrs. Norwood and Renee in the same scene, it uses different names for the same character. This shifts tone while reinforcing identity. Elision. Words are sometimes implied but omitted. For example, I know that, you would have understood. The missing that doesn't interrupt clarity. This mirrors Renee's effort to communicate precisely even when emotionally frayed. Now we have the progression pattern. Chiang structures the story with parallel perspectives. Renee and Carl in alternating sections. This creates emotional distance. For example, Renee, she remembered the marble floor. And Carl, he filled out the hospital forms with practice of detachment. They share space but not understanding. Chiang's structure makes that disconnection visible. And finally, the connectivity rules. First, lexical cohesion. Words like belief and foundation echo Renee's philosophical grounding and its collapse. Second, reference. Pronouns like it streamline storytelling. It had been 20 years ago. Quietly references Carl's past trauma. And third, conjunctions. Logical connectors show contrast and consequence. For example, she wanted to explain it to him, but the words felt meaningless. As a final reflection, in the end, this isn't just a story about math. It's about the fragility of identity when our deepest assumptions break down. And thank you so much for watching.